Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm Captain Jim Palmer, the Dream Business Coach. I am the founder of the Dream Business Mastermind and Coaching Program, creator of the infamous No Hassle newsletters, and author of these 6 books. And I'm going to tell you how you can get your hands on them for free. Well, not your hands, your eyes, more likely, because I'm talking about digital. And I'll tell you that at the end of the show. But most importantly, for the last 10, almost 11 years, I'm the host of Dream Business Radio. And today is another live special edition the day after. Here in this country, we celebrated Independence Day. My guest is Tamara Pflug. Tamara, how are you doing today?
Thank you, Jim. I'm Captain Jim. I'm doing fine today. Thank you.
And Tamara is Swiss. And when I compliment her, I always have my guests come 5 minutes early because sometimes you got technology, and I said it astounds me how many guests show up 30 seconds before you're supposed to go live. She goes, "Well, I'm Swiss, so I have good timing."
Yeah, I had no excuse about this, but I think that if I would not be Swiss, I would also be on time. I think it benefits everybody in the room. So
That's right. I like your style. Anyway, hey folks, this episode of Dream Business Radio, it is brought to you by the Dream Business Mastermind and Coaching Program. If you're an entrepreneur, small business owner who wants to grow a more profitable business faster, and especially if you're interested in creating multiple streams of revenue, something I'm very good at, hence my new report, you want to be part of this extraordinary virtual mastermind group led by me, Captain Jim Palmer. You can learn more at dreambizcoaching.com. Speaking of multiple streams of revenue, I just launched my latest ebook. There's a picture of it right up there somewhere. And you can get a free copy of it. We sent it out to all the people in my email list yesterday, and today we rolled it out through all the social media channels, etc. But I show in detail. I don't actually show. There I go again with my different tenses. I teach you through my power, but the power of words, how I grew from one business in 2001 to over 6 successful businesses. And let me tell you, multiple streams of revenue is the number one way that entrepreneurs, small business owners, can generate higher income. It's so much easier. You sleep so much better. You sleep like a baby when you got multiple streams of revenue, because the one revenue stream, which might experience hiccups, ups and downs, whatever, this takes care of that. You can get a free copy of this incredible report at createmultiplestreamsofrevenue.com. How about that for a URL? Createmultiplestreamsofrevenue.com. All right, let's go back to this one so we can focus on Tamara. Let me also go over to here so I can see everything. I am a professional. We make it look easy anyway.
yeah, and
Tamara.
that's impressive. You got this URL.
Oh, I've got a
Like
whole
that's the
team
same.
of people behind me. No, I absolutely do not. It's my hand doing everything right
This
here.
is crazy. You should have called it Dream Businesses Radio
Yeah.
since you have multiple streams.
So, folks, listen. This is going to be very, very short introduction because I want to really spend a lot of time with Tamara. Plus, it's 9 o'clock over there. She's like, it's 9 o'clock.
What to do?
but she is here to teach you, and so we call her your Swiss fun and confidence coach. And what she likes to say is, if that little nagging voice in your head, it can be quite annoying, and everybody knows about that little voice. I'm quite sure if you're an entrepreneur, you have that voice. I defy you. It's like when I was on the boat. There are those boaters who run aground and those who lie about it.
Yeah.
Everybody's got the nagging voice, and you have to get it under control. People are going, "Jim, you should have stayed on vacation because you're just being a little too silly. I'll try and get control here." So if you get the little voice under control, you can finally accept and love yourself and have more fun, have an uncomplicated life. So Tamara, once again, let me get my professional suit of clothes on and welcome you to Dream Business Radio.
Thank you so much. And actually, it says uncomplicated life. I want to say today, like, let's have an uncomplicated business, which I truly believe are uncomplicated streams of business, like from your ebook from yesterday. Like everything can be much simpler and uncomplicated.
It's the truth. And what's interesting is that the more stress you have, the more the lack of confidence, the more likely you're able to delegate. Like, all these different things complicate what should be a more straight path, right? Not that being an entrepreneur is ever easy, but I think as we all have our strong points, we also can be our own worst enemy. So anyway, before we dive into the whole confidence and fun piece, Tamara, just curious. I'm always it's the only I never script my interviews, but I always like to start with this one question. Do you have any role models, parents, grandparents? And were you shown the entrepreneurial lifestyle, or where you live, do they teach you that in school? Because in America, they don't teach anything about entrepreneurship. You go to school, maybe college, you get a job, you work for somebody else forever. Entrepreneurship is new to a lot of people. So how did you come to have your own business?
Yeah, that's so true. And I like to talk about this because I used to be a teacher myself. And it's funny because at school we want kids not to make mistakes, kind of, because you get bad grades when you make mistakes. But when you become an entrepreneur, people tell you you have to fail, you've got to love to fail. So your brain is completely mixed up, between trying not to fail and failing. So I really hear what you're saying. So I used to be a teacher, and then I learned life coaching. And I love teaching. Kids are very authentic, very simple, taking things not too seriously. When I think adults, we take it very hard sometimes. Everything is very serious, So I used to be a teacher. I loved it. And then I learned life coaching, and I saw how much like feeling more confident, like, yeah, really trusting ourselves and our abilities can help us kind of a little bit much more than what I used to teach kids at school. So I coached on many topics, procrastination, losing weight, all of it. And then I saw that deep down, a bit of business also, it came down to really like trusting ourselves, like self-worth, like self-confidence. And
Hmm.
when we reach a certain point, when we have a successful business, what we can like give ourselves permission to think about ourselves, that we are worthy, that what I mean, that we are good enough.
Yeah. I want to interrupt you real quick.
Yeah.
Did you not feel confident as a teacher? Was it not fun? Or did you just stumble into the whole entrepreneur thing and say, I like this better?
No, what is funny, I have a story in between, is that I remember my partner that we're still together today. Interesting fact. But he called me back then when I was a teacher, and he told me we're going to sell online. And we had a kitchen gadgets company that we proudly sold right before Corona. So this was my middle step that I did not share with you until now. In between, that helped me really, like selling on Amazon FBA with my own brand. It helped me develop so many skills that then I realized I don't want to work for anybody else for the rest of my life. So yes, this is the little missing piece in between that made me want even more to be an entrepreneur. And then I really started my like coaching business as coaching more people and making money from that.
Well, they say when you're an entrepreneur, you have the best boss, but you also have the worst boss, right?
Exactly. Exactly. But I don't know. I just love kind of blaming myself, but finding also solutions with myself. The relationship is complicated. I should not have said that. I'm looking for uncomplicated in life.
All right.
But I mean, it's complicated, but I think everybody is listening probably like is dreaming of business, or like have their dream business, if they're listening to this. And I do believe that it's not necessarily for everyone, but as long as you love your reasons for being here, I think, yeah, take the best and leave the rest. I cannot go back working for somebody, and I have lots of respect for people working for other people.
Right.
That's not me.
So when you started coaching, how did you zero in on the confidence piece? Did you know that was kind of it's sometimes a tipping point for entrepreneurs. It's often one of the things that's lacking when people aren't, hitting their stride in revenue and things like that.
Yeah, I definitely think it's the missing piece no matter where we are. I think that deep down, as I mentioned right before you hit the record button, to me, confidence is really being able and like, yeah, confident kind of that you can feel
Mhm.
any negative emotion, because very often what we don't try in our business is because, we are afraid of feeling a negative emotion when actually it's 90 seconds most of the time. So yeah, this is how I came on like coaching on confidence, because I saw that no matter what topic people are bringing to me, it always comes down to like confidence. And really, I think it's a good news because it's much more in our control when we don't have our business exactly where we want it to be. We kind of blame the world, we blame the economy, people not buying our stuff. But when you work on your confidence, it comes from within, and you help your people much more from a place of service, like unattached to the outcome,
Hmm.
not trying to make it mean anything about you, like you don't have to have people buy from you or do something or say, give you compliments about your product, your offer, for you to feel good. You already feel good, and it attracts people. One, I'm convinced of this. This is why confidence is, I think it's everything.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'd like your opinion on this, and please feel
Mm.
free to disagree with the host. I won't be offended.
I would.
But so there are certain things when you're an entrepreneur, especially an online entrepreneur, that you can learn. You can study copywriting. You can just learn by reading and maybe even working with somebody for a period of time. My experience is that confidence is something that you can't get a self-help book and say, you must have more confidence for these reasons. Oh, okay, good. It's like you need to be challenged. In my case, I work with a couple really very brilliant mentors who who challenged me. One of them I call my Mr. T moment, got in my face. It's like, well, I can't be this little, creep or whatever.
Yeah.
And it made me go do things that I was uncomfortable doing. And then I did them and found out, hey, I can do that, which, means the confidence muscle grows and you keep going. Do you agree? So, by the way, I tend to ask very long questions. So,
Yeah, and I tried to remember. I wanted already to answer to your question about the mentor, but I'm gonna come to
yeah.
it as a
So
PS
my
after.
real question is, with working with confidence, do you
Mhm.
agree that it's really best working with somebody else, or do you think you can just, learn that on your own, how to be more confident?
I have to tell you the truth. I think that you have to work with somebody. Since I'm a confidence coach, I truly
Hmm.
want to sell confidence. I'm gonna tell you,
Well,
you've
there's
got
an
to
honest answer.
you got me there. No, but I also think that you can actually develop confidence. Confidence is an emotion. So I do think that it all depends. This is also backed up by a cognitive behavioral therapy that our thoughts create our reality. So
Hmm.
I do believe that, like our own self, like you right here, right now, you seem pretty confident. But I mean, somebody that would want to start
Oh,
right
you
now.
should have met me 20 years ago. What a bumbling
This
mess.
is you mean 20 when you were 5?
Yeah.
You
Oh, very nice now.
It was a good shot. I'm happy about it. No, but what I want to say by this is that there is a part that you can already start alone by, I think, the very, very first step, and just jumping here because I always love, straightforward like advice or like help, is
Hmm.
just not to believe everything your brain is telling you. Because I think that when we, stop ourselves or we are afraid in our business, it's often because we believe like a thought to be true. But everyone, we all have 60,000 thoughts per day. And we don't even, they are on a lot are unconscious, because the brain is very efficient. It just want to, like save time. So it cannot recreate everything every day. So it's just gonna like repeat the same thoughts. So this is the first step. But then you can also get help with me because as a brain surgeon, like you cannot have a surgery on your own brain. So you do like would
Right.
enjoy the company of a confidence that make it fun. Me.
So I'm not going to ask you to reveal like anything very
Oh, you
confidential
can.
about how you work with your clients, but you know, I think, well, podcasts like this and others, you can inspire people through books like I've written. You can inspire people to be more confident and to take chances
Yes,
and risk, because, well, it's like, well, if he did it or she did it, I guess it could work out. So
for
there's
sure.
that piece of it. But the one thing I think, if you're like a member of a mastermind group and or working with a mentor, there's accountability. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming when you work with people, and you get ready near the end of the session or a call, whatever, and you go, here's some homework, here's what I want you to do. You do check in with them on the next visit, right? Or the next call or the next group meeting. So accountability is a big part of it, is it not?
Yes. No, for sure. And I think that it's more, people are afraid of this word, accountability, because they already see them again to like make it mean something about them. If they're not accountable, it means that they're not going to be successful. This is the very interesting part of it. But I do what I'm doing with my clients. And I think this is what you're going to maybe tell me that you're doing also is more to start with celebrating wins, like something that you've done to train your
Mm-hmm.
brain, to see also what went well and what you did like what from accountability. I think the whole point is to like get stuff done. So I guess that to start like this, you train your brain to look at things that you indeed do because by the end of the week often we think about stuff we did not do, and this is why we are still there. But sometimes it's very important to pay attention on what has been done,
Yeah.
what's
I'm a
working.
big fan of celebrating wins, Tamara. Small
Ah, you
ones,
are.
big ones. Sometimes people, nah, I'm busy. I don't want to do this. Then get extra pepperoni and pizza. Do something that's going to get be outside the
I'm
norm
in
and
for
say,
pizza.
yes, I did this. I got a new client today. I got paid. Whatever that is, right?
Yes. No, and I do believe also, that I think it's Tony Robbins, the guru, who said that actually but I find it interesting. Always take the best, leave the rest from every one of these
Mm-hmm.
amazing speakers. But he said that the quality of your life depends on the quality of the questions you ask yourself. So if by the end of the week you ask yourself why it's not working, your brain again is so efficient. It's still the brain from the
Yeah.
caveman. It's gonna find you answers to these questions. So at least find answers that are serving you, such as like what's working, exactly what you said. I think it's more useful.
So, as I mentioned, the most of the people that listen and watch this show, entrepreneurs, small business owners, and many of them have grown to the point where they're developing teams, right?
Hmm.
So confidence, I do believe I didn't. Somebody said once, and I like this expression: confidence is like a muscle. The more you use it,
Yes.
the more the more it develops. As entrepreneurs grow their businesses to the point of hiring team members, whether they're officially employed team members, 1099 contractors, what role does confidence play in being an effective leader?
Oh, that's such a good question because I just started with a client that is starting to be a leader. So the switch is very interesting. I love it.
Mm,
I think that it's um the first I think, yeah, the most important thing that I can think of, like on the grill, is really to be able to take care of your emotions. I think that deep down, we're still human beings, that I do believe that no matter what we're trying to do, we want to get to feel like something good. And when we don't want to take actions, because like the gym, because we try to avoid feeling a negative emotion. So I would just recommend to make sure to take care of your emotions and not expecting, your employees or people to do something so then you can feel a certain way. I think that
hmm
every emotion can start from what we're thinking. Then, of course, we have kind of expectations, or like we need to make requests, from like a contract and everything, that things needs to get done. But I do believe that it should not be there. And this is what coaching, I think, is very amazing. It's to help us like feel more in control of what we're thinking. So then we don't need, because it's never somebody, even our employee or even at home, somebody who says something or does something that make us feel a certain way, but it's how we
mm.
interpret it, what we think about it. So I think as a leader, this is really one of the things that I love to like help them pay attention in specific situation. I believe that coaching is solving the big things by working always on very everyday specific situations. It's just less inspiring, but it's like very practical, and it's really situation that looks like we blame the other person, but to see if we take care of our emotions in the first place. I hope that makes sense, but in
It
my head,
does.
it does.
Yeah, yeah. So Tamara, what's the linkage between confidence and maybe intuition? Like, and intuition, whether some people go, oh, trust your gut, trust your heart, trust your head, trust
Yeah.
spirit, whatever. Intuition is that thing when you see an opportunity, something, there's that little, maybe it's the little voice, something says that might be good, that might be bad. But we'll call that your intuition, whatever you believe it is. What role does confidence play in your intuition?
Oh, that's a good question. So to me, intuition, and I usually have a Zoom background with like trust your intuition in the back. It's really, yeah, it's to build, like as I said before, the worst that can happen is having a negative emotion. So and when it comes to building our business, I think that often we look at some answers outside of us, how to do that. So I
hmm
always, like, I read somewhere this like a few years ago, and I've decided to go full time on this, that every question that I have, even if it comes to my business, like anything, I answer it myself. And I always think that my first guess is my best answer. So I think that it's exactly like the muscle you mentioned. I think intuition can, for every question, like what do I think about this? But this come with kind of, I love these questions such as, what if that would be easy? What if it would be simpler? Again, because we think that in business even more, I think marketing, all of this, well, you're the king here. But I mean,
Mm,
we make it very complicated. It sounds sophisticated, but I do believe that if our intuition knows better, but it's more the feeling in the body than the brain, because the brain is very afraid, and the intuition, the confidence here, to answer your question, is like knowing that no matter what action we're going to take from listening to our intuition, we're going to be okay, because we can handle any negative emotion, uncomfortable emotion.
I like to say that you want to trust your gut. Your gut is that
Mhm.
instinct, your intuition. Your heart wants it to be true. Oh, I hope she likes me. I hope
Interesting.
he likes me. All right, this is going to be a great success. Like your heart is like, whether this is weird or not, romantically wants this business idea or this new program. It wants it to be great, but your gut's telling me, I don't think there's enough people to turn that into a business. What I'm
Yeah.
saying is you can listen to both, but trust your gut when it comes to, putting skin in the
Yeah.
game.
No, and because the brain is still the brain from the caveman. It basically thinks you're gonna die. So it's gonna send you thoughts
Mm,
such as, you're not good enough. It's not good enough what you're doing. You're never gonna be successful. But your gut, if you really, as you said, it's a muscle. At school, we should tell people, like kids, like, listen to intuition more. The more you listen to it, the more you are more so in
mm.
integrity, because you followed what truly was true to you. I believe, but it's not. Nobody talks about it. I like that you bring it up, because I think in business building we can use it so much more, for sure.
Yeah. I've always believed that I believe that confidence is contagious, right? And
Mm,
one of the ways I mean that is I actually think your confidence will close more sales as a
mm.
business owner. I do believe prospective customers, clients, patients, whatever business you're in, I do believe people are drawn to confident people. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? You could have two people that have, and one of them has an unbelievable skill set, brain, degrees out the wazoo. Well, I don't know if you have that expression there in Switzerland,
Not in
but
Switzerland.
let's say we're very well bred, whatever. And then you have somebody else who's also not as well trained, but he or she has super confidence. I'm thinking the confident person is going to close more business because people, as I say, are drawn to confidence. Do you agree with that?
Yes, but what I will tell you also, some people may think, "Oh, I'm afraid of being arrogant." But what is, and it comes back to what we said before, that
Yeah,
it's so interesting. But what I'm going to tell you is, I think is even more interesting, is that actually when you feel this confidence from within, but again, without depending on what others do, what others say, to feed that feeling confident. When you truly feel confident yourself by what you're thinking, that you find value in what you're selling, in your product, you can help your people from a genuine place of, I can help people. I believe that on a call like this is why I think I have a good conversion rate, but I'm not going to reveal. But I mean, just because I come from a place of sufficiency, when I'm selling, so I'm at peace, so I don't almost need anything from my clients, because I'm coming by the end of a consultation call. We always come to the best decision to my clients. So I mean, when I'm on this place, I don't depend, from what people are saying yes to me for me to feel confident. You understand what I mean? So then it just makes it just a genuine connection to really help somebody, and not, I need this sale so I can give myself permission to think that I'm successful. You understand?
Yeah. It's interesting, your initial comment there about possibly sounding arrogant.
Yeah.
I used to worry about that. I mean, years and years ago. I don't need more. In fact, when I work with my clients, I say, don't even give that a second thought. Now, I know we're supposed to be humble, right? There's a difference between being humble and just meek and quiet, and saying, this is what I can do, this is why I'm good at it, this is how it's going to be amazing for you,
Yes,
right?
it's
Confidence
true.
confidence is not being braggadocious, or it's not arrogant if it's true. So if
It's
I say, man, I've
true.
helped like hundreds of customers, if I've done this, if I've done that, and it's true, you're really stating facts, and you're stating it in a way that should be attractive to people that want to learn from you, right?
Yes,
So
it's
I don't
true.
I don't worry about that. There are people who are turned off by that, and to me, I'm like, you can't appeal and attract everybody, right? So some people may be turned off by that. What I say is, be your true, authentic self. Speak from a position of humbleness, but that, again, it
Mhm.
doesn't mean you're not allowed to say, listen, I started in 2001. I grew 7 successful businesses. I've worked 3 days a week for the last 7 years. I've been on that boat for
It's the
5 years.
best.
It's all true. And to
Yes.
me, I say that, and believe me, that the other part of me is very shy. But I had to get over
Really?
that when I became when I became an entrepreneur. What I tell my clients, in 1 to 2 years when I retire, I'm off social media. You won't even see me. Oh,
Yeah.
here I am doing this. No, I'll be gone.
It's
That's
true,
what
it's
I
true.
do now in terms of marketing and social media, is about my business and for clients, right? But
No, I agree. And it's more like to model what's possible. I think this is amazing what you're doing. And the 3 days a week, I know so many people that make so much money by working less. So it's to show you again that you can, work on your brain. But it's exactly, yeah, I agree with everything you said, actually. And the
well,
arrogance, it comes from a different place. I think being arrogant comes from a place lacking of belief, in ourselves. If you truly, genuinely like feel good about your, like, I mean, trust yourself, it's not the same at all. Arrogance, it's really, again, come from a different place. So
I think also, just put a fine point on this, then we're going to move
yeah.
on, because man, we got like 7 or 8 minutes. I'm really enjoying our conversation here.
I love it.
So I think arrogance also might be taking your confidence to that next level. What I mean by that is, I'm so good, I'm the only one you should work with. Well, that's not true. There's probably other people who could teach you
For
things, right?
sure.
And to prove my point, which sometimes astounds some of my business friends, I've interviewed in over 10 years, and I've actually coached more business coaches than almost anybody else,
I'm
because it's a
sure.
big planet. I can't possibly, nor do I want to work with. So I like helping people. It's a big piece of pie. So I think there's a difference between being confident and arrogant, like I'm the only one anybody should ever work with. That's
Yeah, for
truly arrogant. So
sure.
anyway,
For sure. I love
the
this.
yeah, the name of your podcast is Get Confident, Get Happy. It's interesting that you tie confidence to happiness. I'm sure that's not a happenstance.
Actually, it's so funny you mentioned it because I started this podcast in 2019 and I was just selling online courses. I was into confidence, but I did not use it as per se, as my niche,
Hmm.
you know. But so I just like to keep this this podcast because it's a proof of confidence that you don't have to be ready. You just start and you're gonna see on the way. So actually, I tied it together. Now I find another symbolic about it. I just look for keywords back then. I have to be honest. And actually, for confidence and happiness, I believe that when you truly at peace with yourself, which is, I believe, what I'm saying now, it's genuine emotional peace and freedom. You don't need anybody to change, the world to change for you to feel better. You truly feel happy. I believe that I'm not selling, coaching sessions. I'm selling basically the impact of confidence on your relationship and on here, on your business. Like it's amazing. Like the sky is the limit.
Hmm. Do you think? Trying to think of. I had a bunch of questions. I'm trying to think which one would be most brilliant. No. Do you think? Do you think confidence through intuition? We touched on that. Does that help somebody make faster decisions? Because I truly believe
Yes.
it's part of what my book Decide was about, wherever that is. I truly believe it. When you see an opportunity, problem, a challenge, if you can assess good, bad, and boom, you make the decision and move forward. Not everyone works out, but in inaction usually ends up costing more. Do you believe that? And do you believe fast decisions are usually good for an entrepreneur?
For sure, because decision first, we spend so much time in decision fatigue. Well, I love to eat out, so I spend so much time, equal time in my business decision than in food decision for sure. But what I'm trying to say here is we spend so much decision fatigue on things that you get tired of thinking about like what decision to make. A decision is made in an instant. We can always make another one after. Like the
Hmm.
worst that can happen always, and this is why it's tied to confidence, in my opinion, is that again the worst that can happen is an unexpected like a fail that is I think the definition on Google is unexpected result, like not the result you wanted. You feel an
Yes.
emotion, this is it, you move on. You understand that we make such a big deal out of a fail, like which is the biggest, I think, a roadblocker for entrepreneurs. I do believe so. For sure it's tight. You just make a decision, tack, and then you also, it's a muscle, I think. And then you trust yourself that you can rebound, you say rebound, like a ball,
Yep.
like no matter what decision you make, because you can always make a different one after.
And what I say in my book, Decide, it's yes or no, but not maybe. Maybe, or
Yeah.
the back burner, whatever you call it, that sends you to a place that I've coined squishy belt, which is where opportunity goes to die. So
Oh,
make a
I love it.
decision, yes or no, and move forward. You will almost always make course correcting action decisions, because not if you do go fast, not everything's going to work out. But if you got momentum, you can absorb an occasional body blow
Yes, that's
and keep
true.
going, right? Um,
Yeah, that's for
God, I want
sure.
to squeeze in another question
Yeah,
here.
I could say other
So,
stuff, but I said no, I'm gonna listen to
yeah,
another
yeah. So
question.
somewhere on your website, when I was preparing for the interview, I saw where you mentioned that the steps to a fun and uncomplicated life. Remember, you tied
Yes.
uncomplicated there. Stop listening to the nagging little voice you hear. Stop feeling frustrated. Stop overthinking things that you've said or done. You can comment on any of them, but the last one, is that about regrets, about not having regrets and just moving forward?
What the last part? Can you
The
tell me one
last
more
one
time?
was stop overthinking things that you've said or done, which
Yes.
is kind of in the past, the way I read that.
Yeah, but I believe also when it comes to business, people sometimes they identify themselves or they describe themselves for something that happened in the past. But just if you would wake up with amnesia, which I don't wish for anybody listening here
Yeah.
or watching, like just imagine if you wouldn't have this story that you tell yourself about, oh, I made this mistake, oh, I wasn't successful, and you know better with all the streams, all the businesses you have, that you 80-20% rule. Some things are working out, sometimes no. But I mean, like we should not like the past if it feels good to think about the past, like I had so much fun, I'm proud of myself, good. If it's not, like, don't go back. It's what you said before. If I could find a way for us to go back in time and use what we said or done, like to change it, I would be super rich. We would not be talking. But I mean,
Yeah.
well, no, I wish we will still have fun. But I mean, like it's not useful. I think the question is not even if it's true or not, what you're thinking, if it's useful. So it doesn't matter what happened in the past. This is what I meant by this.
Yeah. Well, so it's 3:29, and since you are Swiss, I'm gonna keep very,
9:29.
very good timing for this interview. So, first of all, what a great interview. Thank you so much. I
Thank you
mean,
so
I've learned a
much.
lot, and you've helped me clarify some of the things. I'm
I
sure our
hope.
audience is gonna love this. So, how can they connect with you? I mean, I'm sure we're connected over the pond through this thing called the internet, right?
Yeah, for sure. So back then, which was also the start of my business, start anywhere you are. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. My website is called personaldevelopmentzone.com. because it's like a little zone where we're having fun and we take things not too serious. Even if you want to make millions and millions, I'm learning American Sign Language, so I have big goals, even if I make it uncomplicated, So you can have it all. And I truly believe for everybody in the room. So yeah, this is where you can find me.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I
Thank you
really,
so
really
much,
had
Jim,
a lot of fun.
Captain Jim.
Hey, folks, that wraps up this very special interview with Tamara Pflug, and you can connect with me at getjimpalmer.com. Again, if you're interested in joining about 27 other smart entrepreneurs in the Dream Business Mastermind and Coaching Program, you can go to Dream Biz Coaching. That's dreambizcoaching.com. Remember, you can get a free copy of my new ebook. Where did I put that? There it is, right there. My new ebook just released, and it's called How to Create Multiple Streams of Revenue. I literally detail in these pages exactly how I went from one to the other, where the idea came from, what was the impetus, spinning and spinning and spinning. So it's actually, I hope it's going to be very inspirational to you. You can download a copy at createmultiplestreamsofrevenue.com. And remember, you can get digital versions. I told you that all 6 of my books are free as in Amazon, as Kindle. They're in the Barnes & Noble bookstore as Nook Books. They are also in the iBookstore. It's my way of giving you quite an education for free, part of my legacy building program. But that's it. Until this time next week, another fantastic interview. I am Captain Jim Palmer, and I am the Dream Business Coach, and you take good care.